Okay, everybody, quick thoughts on this fight. Jai Opetaia wins whatever decision, 12 round decision over Brandon Glanton. And it's fine. And I saw a lot of people, disappointed with the performance. Not every fight's going to be a great night. You got to win you got to win, right? So if you win a fight, that's always the best thing. He's had spectacular performances before this, so one not amazing night doesn't really ruin anything, right? But I think one thing to keep in mind is I sent this to a friend was, a lot of people are saying he was a killer and really scary guy, and I think that nothing changes. It's just the downside to being a killer is people can build evidence and build a case and not say they're doing that, but sometimes there's double sides to being a scary pressure fighter in the ring. And maybe tonight, we saw some of the burden of being the face of a company and, all that comes with that and stuff. So that's something to be decided. I think the big takeaway for me, we're into four Zuffa boxings, and I've watched about two all the way through. I've caught the rest of them, mainly main event, in and out. Sundays just honestly are not a great day for me to watch boxing. I know some of you have a different view on that. But the big takeaway and the kind of the title of the video is that Zuffa boxing is reminding me of something about maybe, oh God, it's probably like 23 years ago. So probably a pretty long time ago now. But in skateboarding, and I came from skateboarding culture a long, long time ago, the big thing was like the establishment and corporations trying to come in, and now they have, so it's like not even an issue now. But at the time, there was this idea to keep skater run companies there and all this stuff, and big companies. We don't have to say the names, but these big companies were coming in at the time, trying to sign skateboarders to these big contracts that pro athletes were getting. And a lot of people weren't taking it, so it'd be kind of fringe people taking big cash out things, etc. And you might say, what's the parallel? Well, the parallel is the only way that they started to have success was when they found athletes like Stefan Janowski, who normalized it. He was someone who's revered in skateboarding culture, and then all of a sudden it opened up the floodgates for other people to do it. And then around 2015, 2016, you saw like pretty much all of the best skateboarders in the world then became sponsored by these big corporations, to the point where if you look, it's hard to see skater owned brands anymore that aren't affiliated with big corporations. And I'm starting to think that maybe that's the lesson for Zuffa boxing is until they have that fighter who has the pivotal performance, the amazing, outstanding performance, it's going to be hard for these shows to get traction because this is there. No one's really finishing the show. I mean, I guess you could say F.A. Ajagba had a really good performance, but he fought Charles Martin, who's an older fighter. Yes, he's a former world champion, but he's an older fighter. And I think some people thought that, that could go that way. The rest of the fights, Callum Walsh, it wasn't that spectacular. Uh, Rayo Valenzuela was a good fight, but he also went to unanimous decision. And then with Jai Opetaia, there's a lot of hype that he's one of the best guys in this division. Many people believe he's the best cruiserweight. To me, it's between him and Zordo Ramirez. And then, he has this performance that looks kind of flat. So I think that for Zuffa boxing to really keep up the enthusiasm, they need to find someone organically that kind of fits the bill, not just of a star, but fits the bill of someone that boxing fans also want to tune into, someone that's credible in boxing, who can put on those performances that kind of carry the promotion forward. Because tonight, solid fight card, like you saw with Pablo Rubio's fight, and shout out to Pablo Rubio, very good California based fighter who had a great performance tonight. Um, you're you're kind of void of that name, or you're void of people watching it and not skipping over the fight. So what they really need is simple to say, like their own McGregor, but they need their own, maybe in my sense, Stefan Janowski that skateboarding had, where it's someone that people can't miss the fights. Because I think that we're starting to get into a weird territory with Zuffa boxing, where I think there's a subsection of fans that are missing these fights, and it's almost feeling like they can catch up with recaps, and that's not a great position to be in. Opetaia, I thought, really had a chance to have like a exciting action fight tonight. Wasn't necessarily the case, at least to me. And now, you have another fight April 5th. We'll see how that goes. But I think it's an interesting spot because this, to me, I think circled on the calendar was a big, big moment for them. And it was just, it was just all right. And I think that with how marquee of a signing he was, that may or may not be like what was expected. So those are my initial thoughts. Let me know and, take care.